Welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. The 3 keys to your success is just moments away. Here's your host, Brian Kelly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. We have a phenomenal show lined up for you tonight. I can't wait to bring on this amazing guest. John Cohen is in the house. He's coming on very, very soon. If you ever wanted to learn about a really interesting technique for real estate investing, then you've come to the right place. And it's also a show about entrepreneurship and success. And so I'm going to dig deep, ask some really hard-hitting questions of John, and he is going to answer them with incredible ease and share immense value with you, to share with you how he became so successful so that you can simply model him and do the same. The Mind Body Business Show. What is that all about? Well, in now my 55 years on this planet, around the last 10 of those or so, I began studying successful people and just successful people. And what I found during that last decade or so is that patterns started emerging with these successful people. And it came into 3 primary areas. And you might now know what those are. It's mind. And that was mindset. They had a very flexible, powerful mindset. And I was talking to John off the air right before the show, and we both agree that, it's about controlling your attitude controlling your circumstances, not the other way around. And so having that empowered mindset can get you past the troubled times. And then body, that is literally about taking care of your body, about nutrition, about what you put into your body. And it's also about exercising on a regular basis. And successful people that I studied had those 2 traits to start off with. And I call those the foundation. The foundation of success are your mind and your body. And I like to talk about that as a team. The mind and body are a team. And more importantly, they are your team. And as with any team, if one player of that team is not pulling their weight and is not operating at a peak level of performance, then the team as a whole is suffering. And so you want to concentrate on your mind and your body and get those set. Get that foundation laid, get it solid. And then you can concentrate on all of the aspects of the 3rd pillar of success, and that is business. And business is multifaceted. There are so many skill sets in business. There's sales, marketing, team building, scaling, systemizing. The list goes on and on. Leadership. And really, because of that last one, leadership, that's the good news, because for one person to master every skill set, there are many more than I just mentioned, could take more than a lifetime for one person to do that. If you master the skill set of leadership, well, then you could delegate a lot of those other skill sets off to people that have them on your team and there achieve incredible success. So the Mind Body Business Show, it is a show by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs to help you to succeed by showing you and bringing with you or to you amazing guests like John Cohen, who's coming on in just a moment, I promise. And another fantastic attribute of very successful people is that to a person, they're very avid readers. And I want to hit on that for just a moment. And with that, we're going to segue into a little segment I affectionately call Bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, bookmarks. There we are. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com. And just a real quick note for those of you watching right now or listening is to basically stay in the room. And what does that mean? You're going to be given a lot of phenomenal resources over the course of this evening, this show, one of them being reachyourpeaklibrary.com. And rather than give in to that temptation to go and look at it on another tab on your browser, if you're watching right now live, instead stay with us. And rather, I would recommend you pull out this very old-fashioned thing called paper and maybe this other instrument you may remember. It's called a pen or a pencil, and take notes and just write down the resources as we go. And then after the show's over, you can go visit those resources. That way you won't miss a thing. If your attention is diverted, I would really, really hate to see you miss a golden nugget that John is going to give you here in a moment. So stay with us till the end and really stay with us. Take notes. I run the show. I'm the host and I take notes throughout it. So I'm not asking you or telling you to do anything that I wouldn't do or do. All right, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. What is that? That is a website I literally put together with you in mind. I'm not kidding. With you, the entrepreneur, the business person who's looking to achieve a greater level of success than they have currently already achieved. And what I did was I began reading voraciously for the last decade or so. I did not read at all. I mean, nothing until just about a decade ago. And finally, I was given great advice by a mentor of mine, and my thick skull was finally opened up to where I said, okay, I'm going to start reading. And this is literally a list of my personal reads. These are what books I've read that have had profound effect and impact on me, both in business and personal life. And so I put this here for you so that you could at least have a list of vetted books from at least one other successful entrepreneur, so that you're not guessing and looking for, well, what's the greatest book and putting it out there, looking on Google. Now you can just know and rest assured that at least one person says these are really good reads and they can have profound effect on you and your life. And so that is what that is there for. And speaking of having a profound effect on you and your life, that is where we bring on our special guest, because this young man is going to blow your socks off. I can't wait to bring him on. Here we go. Let's bring him on right now.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Mr. John Cohen. Yes. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you having me on, Brian.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much for taking the time. John comes to us by way of Long Island, New York. So he's, it's late there right now. Well, later than here. It's 8:37 where he's coming from. I'm on the opposite side of the United States in California at 5:37. So I appreciate you coming on, John, and spending this time, devoting your time, investing your time. I know you have a nice young family that you are taking your time away from, and that's phenomenal. I appreciate your investment with us.
My pleasure.
Now, before I introduce you formally and let people know a little bit more about you, I want to mention to everyone that stays on with us live to the very end, you will get a chance to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And it's a resort of your choosing. Mexico, there are several resorts out there. And just so you know, this is a legitimate vacation giveaway. And yes, while we are restricted on our travel right now, not to worry, you'll be the one that has that vacation giveaway, that the moment the doors are open and the planes are flying, you can be one of the first to say, I got a vacation, I'm out of here. And so we give one of those away every single show. And so stick with us live to the very end, and you will learn how you can enter that phenomenal giveaway. Let's bring on the man himself. John co-founded Toro Real Estate Partners in 2015. His focus is the strategic direction of the company, formulation of investment strategy, investor development, and acquisition and dispositions. He has been investing in real estate since 2010. John's understanding of deep value investing in the real estate space started by buying tax deeds and tax liens. Since starting in real estate, he has been involved in over $350 million in various real estate transactions and his own personal developments. That is phenomenal. And he's also an avid baseball fan. We're going to talk about what's behind him in a moment. But before we do that, that's a phenomenal backdrop. And we're going to get deeper into what you do, John, and how you help people and how other people can get involved with you. What I wanted to do is kind of peel away the onion real quick. And so that was kind of on the surface, what your accomplishments and achievements have been thus far. What I like to do, I'm very curious. I want to dig deeper and find out what is going on in that nice, big, beautiful brain of yours that helps you to get where you are. Because like I said in the beginning of the show, mind and body, they're the foundation for success, both in business and personal. So when you get up, John, and the day is about to start, you get out of bed, you might be a little groggy, you start to come to, you realize, okay, another day is ahead of me. And I don't know about you, but I get excited each and every day I get up because of what's ahead of me. I was curious for you, being an entrepreneur is not simple. It's not easy. It takes a lot of, I'll let you explain that, but it's not easy. What is it for you that keeps you motivated each and every day when you get up and the day is in front of you? And sometimes it's not always the greatest thing that you need to accomplish when you first get up. What motivates you to keep powering through each and every day?
Yeah, so it started, I grew up, I had the best parents. The family life I had was fantastic. Probably one of the best that, would rival. If I came back, I'd want to come back as myself. So the early motivation for me when I started, my first company was I wanted to be able to provide for my mother and father and my brother's younger than me, but I wanted to be able to provide for them the same way they provided for me growing up. So when they got older, when they retired, I heard, one of the guys that I follow, and I've read a lot of his books, he gave a piece of paper to his mom. He said, write down whatever you want to make a year, you can come work for me. And when I heard that, it was something that stuck in my head, and it's something that I wanted to make sure I would be able to do for my family. And it went one further. It was just not me. It was, if my cousin needed something, if, an uncle, aunt, whatever, if any of them ever wanted anything, I wanted to be able to make sure that they can come to me, no questions asked. Don't, here you go. I don't want it back. I don't care. I just want to do whatever I can to help my family out. About a year ago, a little over that, it changed. And actually, one step back, my wife, prior to having my daughter, who's just over a year old, it was a whole new motivation. It was the reason why I get out of bed every morning, not just to take care of her in the morning, because I do the morning shift. It's also to provide for them. It goes one step further now. So it's not just my mother, my father, my brother, my family. Now it's my wife, my daughter. I want to be able to, for them to have whatever they want, when they want it. And I'm willing to make, any sacrifices I have to make to do that, put them first. That's why I do what I do. Early on in real estate, I had another mentor who told me, or an advisor who basically said, there's no reason why you can't spend time with your family. Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs get, tied down with a lot of work. They told me early on, make sure you have time block in your calendar every day for your family, and just put it in your calendar. This time is for them. If something else comes up, I already have I already have a meeting. So I make sure it's my goal every day to have my schedule planned out, make sure I have time for my family. It's very rarely I don't, we eat dinner together as a family every night. Myself, my wife, my daughter. We give a bath to my daughter every night together. My wife puts her to bed, and then I come back down to the home office and I do whatever I got to do for the rest of the night, and then I do it again. So I would say the biggest defining, motivating factor for me, my mom, my dad, my brother, my wife, my daughter, and, the immediate family.
That's fantastic. And that's one thing that I've taught from stage is, it's very important for you, if you're going to be an entrepreneur and go through this, that we put ourselves through, is to have a very, very powerful why, WHY. And it's obvious what yours is, John. It's family. You're a deep-rooted family man. And that's great advice that you are given and that you are following. I made the mistake many years ago of not following that and got ridiculous. I mean, completely just did whatever I needed to do, what I thought I needed to do, and ignored my family. And thankfully, my wife was very good about, confronting me about it. And we had a talk, and I was like, wow, you're right. And it was a wake-up call. So please heed John's advice and literally prioritize it and schedule it. Sounds like you've scheduled it. Put it in your calendar. That is blocked out. I have no appointments can occur during this time. This is my family time. I think that's phenomenal advice.
And it's tough. I'll say the hardest part about that is that, my whole life, anytime I had a job, any job I ever worked, I would go into the office, and, you look around, you want, when you're new, okay, well, who's this guy? I would always, try and find the guy that made the most amount of money in the office, and not, for the only reason of what is he doing or what is she doing? If they got in at 5, I was in at 4:30. If they stayed till 10, I stayed till 10:30. If they made 200 calls, I made 600 calls. It was just, I always wanted to be doing what they were doing more than them, because I always assumed that if it's working for them, it should work for me. And even when I started the business that I'm in now, I remember my mentor, when I sat down with him, I actually said, whatever you do, I'm going to do it better. And it's not that I'm not bragging. It's just that's, I might not be as good as you, but I'm going to go through a brick wall trying to be the best that I can be. But when my daughter was born, I told my partner it was a full-time commitment. I said, I will be out of this office at between 5 and 6 every single night, so I can be home with my wife and daughter and put her to bed. And I would say 9.5 out of 10 days, that's the case. Sometimes a conference call goes a little bit longer, and I'm switching my headset to my phone and running to my car. But now everybody in the office knows when it gets close to 5:30 and I'm not out, they're like, go, get out of here. But I made it a absolute commitment, and I think everybody should, commit to anything, whether it's working out, being home. If you're single, more power to you. You can do more. But I think it's super important, and you got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And you even have the support of the people that work in the office with you. That's phenomenal. If they know your schedule, then they can even help you. I mean, these are embedded tips that everyone should be listening to and taking notes on if you're not already doing it. If you have a team, then make it known what your schedule is to them. Right, John? That now they can support you and say, hey, I love that. They were kicking you out of the office saying it's time for you to go to be their family.
It's accountability. Keeping everybody accountable, and whether whoever it may be, anyone that you can bounce that idea off and make sure you stick to what you said you're going to do is super important. And it's hard because I've always been the first in the office and the last in the office. Now, because I wake up with my daughter and I let my wife sleep until she wakes up. Now I'm the last in the office and the first to go, and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, it's totally different, but you adapt to it. My daughter, there's videos on our podcast. She's sitting on my lap, and I'm working, and she's sitting there, and she's, grabs a pen or she's banging on the computer, and they're like, this is great. I'm like, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. But it's been fun.
Fantastic. Hey, I was going to ask you, you have some cool things behind you on the wall. Do you mind letting everybody know what those are?
Absolutely. I'm a huge baseball fan. I played baseball for as long as I can remember. Played baseball in college. I played down in the Dominican Republic, and I got injured and I couldn't play anymore. But it's my passion. I'm a huge Yankee fan. I've been to, we had season tickets when I was younger. I absolutely love the Yankees. As I got older, I realized that I actually like watching the game more on TV and not going to the game unless it's the playoffs. Then I have to be there. But what's behind me here are copies of the patents of, the baseball over here. Whoops, over there. The bases. I have a catcher's mask, a catcher's mitt, a glove, and behind my head is a bat. So it's the original patents when those things were created in a copy form. I wish I actually had the real patents, but I don't. But those are just, pretty cool, something different. I saw them online. I grabbed them, and actually right next to me, a very good friend of mine actually bought me like a little side table where it's Yankee Stadium cut out into cardboard, and it's got lights around it. So it's pretty cool. So huge baseball fan. It's a big part of what I do.
Yeah, I love that. And so you are well versed in what it means to be physically fit, and a lot of people.
Well, I might have been well versed. I actually just kicked off a much larger commitment to fitness and health, partially because of my daughter and my wife. I made a conscious decision. I remember getting out of college, being in better shape. I was even looking at pictures the other day, and my wife's like, "You're so thin," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know things have gotten in the way." And I made every excuse in the world not to continue working out. But at April 1st, actually right before that, I said, enough of this shit. It's time to get your act back together. For, one, obviously there's a pandemic going on. Everybody knows that. I actually do have asthma. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to let this thing get me. And it was a big start. And I said, I just got to get healthier. I got to get in better shape. And when I played baseball and I did that, I was in significantly better shape and stronger. And I lost touch with that. I put some other priorities forward, but I made a conscious decision to get back on fitness. My diet, I have to change it. That's the largest hurdle next, but we're going to take baby steps. We're going to, can't eat an elephant in one day. So we're going to take small steps. Right now it's working out 7 days a week, every day, nonstop, making sure I get at least 30 to 45 minutes of cardio in. And then we'll slowly build up to a more physically fit individual.
I love it. And so here's the thing, you're no different. And I'm telling this to the audience that John is no different than literally anyone else who has gone on the wagon of working out and then off the wagon or exercise on a regular basis. It happens to every one of us, yours truly included. When I got into college, it started actually waning some because I wasn't in sports then. It ended in high school. And I started doing other things. I got a girlfriend that we were spending a lot of time with. And then life happened, got married, got the job, got kids, and wow, I had no time to work out anymore. And so it's not an uncommon story. The cool thing with you, John, And this is the key for everyone out there, is that you are aware. First, you are aware that, hey, man, I don't feel the same way. I don't look the same way. I want to right the ship. And now that you have a little one, doesn't it become even more important? And it does, right?
Oh, no, 100%. I mean, literally, my mom's on top of me, and everyone's, you got to be healthy for your daughter. And I'm like, yeah, I feel good. I feel great. I mean, I really do. But little things happen. You get older, and you're like, my back hurts a little bit. I really didn't do anything. Or it's like, I got a package delivered today, and I brought it to the back of the house, and I'm like, that's really not acceptable. Like, you shouldn't be out of breath by carrying 2 boxes to the back of the house. So, and it's funny because today it was around 2:30, and I said, I'm not working out today. I've just, I've had a really good kick. I'm on a nice little run. And I said, absolutely not. I got on a bike, I rode, and I rode for 30, 35 minutes or whatever it was. Then I was eating dinner with my wife, and I was like, if I did not work out today, I would have been extremely disappointed with myself, which is an amazing feeling, because that means you're back in that groove where if you don't do it, there's a consequence. And when I said that out loud, I was like, okay, the strides have started, because I remember when I was younger, and even prior to stop working out, you feel really bad when you didn't do it. So I was very happy that I felt that way, but I worked out, and hopefully I I'll continue this this pattern. I set out to be 45 days straight, preferably into the early summer, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and fantastic. And one of the things that has been key, I used to be in the fitness industry, and one of the key things is getting an accountability partner, someone who either works out the same time you do, or at least that you check in with each other. And just knowing that you have to tell them that you didn't work out is enough to drive you to work out every single time that you say you're going to. It's a very simple technique, but too many people don't do it and fall off the wagon. It's just it's that important. And I worked out right before this show, right before you and I got on camera. It just gets me amped. It gives me energy. So I time it so that I work out right before the show, and I'm ready to go. The tension's gone. I feel great. And that's just me. Other people will do it the moment they wake up. I'm like, man, I got to wake up for a while before I can go crazy on the physical stuff and start huffing and puffing. But yeah, do whatever works for you, but stick with it, like John is doing now. 7 days a week. I don't know if you need, I'm talking about people in general. Start short, start small, like John was saying with what he does in his workouts, but you can do it 3 or 4 times, maybe 4 or 5 times a week would be a good start. And don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, you'll get all sore and you'll never want to do it again.
Yeah, you definitely want to start a little slower, for sure, because you wake up and you feel horrible, and you will work out for 5 days, and then you're right back where you started. So I agree 100%.
And being an infielder as well, nothing more exciting than turning 2, is there?
That was the best. It was funny when I played second base going into college. I played everywhere when I was younger, but I played second base, and I remember getting to college and double plays. I had a very good arm, and the coach, it was the first double play in fall ball practice, and he's like, wait. Go to third, and you're going to play right field. And I actually played the least amount of innings at second base compared to any other position on the field. So I played more first base, third base, shortstop, center field, right field, and I played very little to no second base in college. But I do miss that. That was, I recall back in the backyard when I was younger, getting the ball in different arm angles to, try and turn 2, and just practicing that. And that's probably the biggest thing I miss, because there's nothing better than a nice double play. I mean, you're the second baseman turning it. It feels really good. So I do miss that a lot.
And I love baseball. I think it's one of the purest sports out there. And by that, I mean, it doesn't necessarily require a massive physique or any incredible physical gifts as far as jumping or running super fast. They help in all cases, but it's kind of the equalizer when it comes to sports. As long as you have the fundamentals down, and you have to have some talent, you have to. But it takes less, in my opinion, physical prowess. Like a basketball player, it helps if you're really tall, for sure. Football helps if you're really big, unless you're a wide receiver, but then you have to be really fast. With baseball, you can be a combination of several things as long as you're very good. And the important thing that's always driven home is fundamentals. And the same thing holds true with business. You know, if you're out there and you're starting to grow your business, you know, you're getting bigger and you're starting to get overwhelmed because you're a solopreneur. Well, the next step for you is to reach out and get help, get a VA, get an apprentice. And that's, you know, going through the fundamentals of business, and there are stages in business. And so it's very similar to sports in how you get and grow up through the ranks of in a baseball team. So it's very similar in my opinion. So goodness, that was quite a tangent, wasn't it? So I love sports and baseball. And when you said you played infield, that's like a kinship right there. When it comes to skill sets, though, being an entrepreneur and a business person, John, if you could think of just three skill sets right now, today, where you're at today, that are for you the most important to have to be successful as a business person, what would you say those three are?
The first one I think is willingness to fail, but not when you do, you know, get right back up. It's not you. If you pick one idea and you're super successful at it, more power to you. I'm the first to admit I'm not the smartest. You know, I'm not the smartest. You know, I'm short, fat, and bald. I joke around with people, but it doesn't mean that you can't try. Hard work is free. You don't need anything other than the willpower and the want to do it. So don't be scared to fail. I think that the next one would most likely be I'm extremely stubborn, good, bad, or indifferent. I think that being stubborn is not a bad thing as long as you're willing to accept, you know, the hard work that goes into the decisions you make. And then the third one is, you know, I'll quote my uncle, and I don't know if, you know, I don't think this was his original quote, but you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, to listen more than you talk. There's a ton of meetings that I go on that I don't say anything, but I leave there either smarter or more educated than when I sat down. So I think that just, you know, the hard work, stubborn, willingness to fail, and being able to adapt to it and get back up. And then just, you know, listen more than you speak, because just by listening, you're going to pick up so many things around you. So, you know, although I am stubborn, and I do think it's a quality that's been very important to me, because a lot of people told me no a lot on a lot of things. I remember I was in second grade. I said I wanted to play for the Yankees, and my friend's mother actually said I had no shot at doing that. And I remember that, and I was like, what? How do you tell a second grader that he can't play for the Yankees? I mean, that's like every young kid's dream. Maybe not the Yankees, but that was mine. But I remember, and I'm not playing for the Yankees, so I failed. But I remember that thing sticks with me every single time. When someone tells me no, I instantaneously try and make it happen. And then, like I said, the last one is just, you know, listen more than you speak. I think it's something that's invaluable. I think a lot of people want to be quick to talk, but I think that if you listen more and you just, you know, take it in before you say something is super important.
I love that take on stubbornness. You know, it's like dare to dream. You know, it's don't just settle for what people are telling you. I was curious about what you meant by that, and then you cleared it up at the end. I was like, oh, I gotcha. You know, don't just accept what people tell you. If they say no, then and it's something you want, then turn up the flame, go harder, go faster. And you know, I wouldn't call it a failure. You just gave it everything you got. You didn't give up. And you learned a lot along the way, and you got to use everything you learned toward growing in the rest of your life. And so that I don't look at anything as a failure ever. It's a learning opportunity. But that drive and that determination, the discipline, and everything that took for you to get where you got. I mean, you played in college, brother. There aren't many people that can say that.
I remember
that's an accomplishment, and I don't care at what level. I don't care what level, because you know, each level, it gets harder. The competition is harder. In high school, we had a really good team, and there was a lot of competition just to get out on the field and play rather than sit the bench. So I get that. And so you were highly successful as a baseball player in my eyes. And I know you didn't reach that pinnacle that you were looking for, but man, that's a success in many people's eyes. And, you know, God bless you for going that far. And because you now have those traits and you get to pass those on to your daughter, it's phenomenal. What you learned and what you experienced is going to be and has been transferred into your success today.
I appreciate that. It's funny because I was recently talking to somebody, and My daughter she definitely has that trait. There's times where she's not that tall, right? She's 1 year old, and she's standing on her tippy toes, reaching up, trying to grab something off the table. I'm like, you're never going to get it. And it doesn't matter. She'll stand there. She'll stand on her tippy toes. She'll reach and she'll look. And I'm like, I hope to God that you never lose that drive, because you're 100% right. I mean, it's super important. And whether you have it or you don't have it, it doesn't mean you can't find it or get it. It's just persistency and not giving up. And that's the key to any business, because there are days that you wake up and it's just not going your way. And it's very easy to wave the white flag. And I just can't do that.
I love that. Perfect. So everyone, that was a major golden nugget. Don't ever, ever, ever give up. Ever. I mean, ever. I mean, God, I'm 55 and still, you still hit these speed bumps, these roadblocks, and you just get more flexible and you figure out ways to solve every situation that comes in front of you. And you don't do it by freaking out. After you've done this for a while, you just say, okay, let's get busy. Let's figure this out. And you just take care of business. And you don't get overwhelmed and start thinking about all the, but what if, and what if that happens? No, you just say, go forward. We're going to succeed no matter what, at all costs, with integrity, with character. When I say at all costs. And that's what you have as a trait, John. And obviously your daughter, that's a great story. And I haven't heard the word tippy toes for quite some time. That was endearing. I love that. It's been a long time since I've had little ones in the house, and it's fun to kind of relive them through your eyes as you talk about it. It's pretty neat. I want to talk about your business specifically. You have a company, again, we said in the onset, Toro Real Estate Partners. And I wanted to find out, what is it exactly that you guys do there? And you told me a little bit about your model before we went on the air. I found it very intriguing, and I'd love for everyone to understand what it is you do. And then, are there opportunities for our viewers to get involved with you? And if so, how do they do that?
Excellent. So my company's Toro Real Estate Partners. We are a real estate investment company. What we do is we source real estate deals. We co-invest with all of our investors. We have about 400 investors currently. We own about 4,500 apartments throughout the Southeast and the Midwest. We are the operators, the general partner, the sponsor of the deal. So we'll put together the entire package. We secure the financing. We raise the capital. We contribute our own money, and we asset manage the deals for the life of the deal. Some deals are 12 to 36 month deals. I do think in the market we're in now, most deals will be 36 months, 3 years to 7-10 year deals. But we offer an opportunity for all investors to invest passively, so they can focus on what they do best and have their money go to work in another asset class. A lot of people invest in the stock market, bonds, gold, whatever it may be, and there's nothing wrong with all those investments. I think everyone should be diversified. What we do is we allow people to take advantage of real estate opportunities that they may or may not have access to. We are multifamily focused. We do also have a mobile home side and a vacant land side, but our core business is multifamily acquisitions throughout the Southeast and the Midwest. But we offer those opportunities up to all our investors. The typical process for us is go to our website. You can give us a call. You can come to our office. Open door if you're in New York. We have a podcast. We have a meetup. We have an Instagram page. Whole 9 yards. But we have an investor questionnaire. We can't. If you called me tomorrow and said you wanted to give me some money, we don't do that. We vet our investors just like we expect our investors to vet us. So there's an investor questionnaire on our website. You typically fill that out. You'll get an email, or you'll get a follow-up call from myself, our asset manager, or my partner, Don. And what we typically like to do is we just like to have, a quick 15 to 30-minute call just to understand what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish, and why you want to do this. And then we'll typically follow it up with a strategy session where we can work with you on what your goals are to see if what we do fits. After that, we're typically buying anywhere between 3 and 5 deals a year. Once we go through that process, we try and do a FaceTime or a video call, one of those opportunities, We just want to understand, we want to get to know all of our investors, and we want to make sure it's the right investment for them, just like we're the right partner for them to invest with. And then, we have typically between, like I said, 3 to 5 deals a year. You'll be on our investor list. We typically open up our deals, at least 15 to 20% of our equity is new investor money. So we always allow new investors to participate. If the deal makes sense, it checks off all your boxes, you invest in the deal, and then you get your quarterly checks, your monthly checks, quarterly checks, semi-annual checks, just depending on the risk of the deal, the level of the deal, what we're doing. We look to provide passive income for any and all of our investors, and obviously, provide them an opportunity that they may or may not have.
It's a phenomenal concept. I'm not a real estate guy, so maybe this is something that's somewhat normal, but that co-investing approach is really brilliant, I think, because when you and your firm have money in the game and you're co-investing with the other people or person that's investing with you, I love that, because now I know you have skin in the game. And if it doesn't perform, then you're not getting anything. And if it does perform, you're getting something. So I know that your incentive as a company is very, very high to make that investment a wise one. And that's what I love about it. And we were talking before we got on the show about, if it were me, I was like, yeah, the more percent you own, the happier I am, because that means you're going to be more and more, you'll have more at stake, and you'll have more reason for this investment to really take off. And it was interesting how you're talking about others were saying, no, I don't want you to have any. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Just get multiple investments then and stack up. But phenomenal. I love that, because there's other financial institutions that I work with, one right now, that he only makes money if my portfolio performs, period. Otherwise, he makes no money. There's no commission on trades or anything. It's phenomenal. And this sounds very similar to that. That's what I love about it. So fantastic. So how do people get involved with you? And, what are the things you're looking for people when they come and reach out to you?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that we're looking for is obviously to provide another asset for them. We own, the smallest property owned is 82 units. The largest property we own right now is 342 units. I'm sorry, 360 units. So, when you're driving around and you see a building, you're like, oh my God, I'd love to own that. And some people don't ever conceptualize that that's possible for them. We look for investors that, typically we like accredited investors, which have net worth requirements, liquidity requirements, whole 9 yards. Some of the deals we do not require accredited investors, but if any deal is generally solicited, you have to be accredited to invest. That's the unfortunate side. The positive side is that we do deals that we don't generally solicit. You have to be an investor of ours. You have to have gone through a conversation with us. You have to have a video call. So we have to understand and know who you are as an investor. It's a relatively invasive process from our side. We do like to know, it's not, you have to provide me with your bank statements or anything like that, but we ask you some serious questions. Hey, this money is a real estate investment. It's not liquid. You can't get it back tomorrow. So what does your liquidity look like? And I don't need you to tell me down to the penny, but if you have $100,000 and you want to give me $100,000, or you have $100 million and you want to give me $100 million, I'll say no. I typically say, hey, if that's your last check, keep it for yourself. I don't want to touch it, because I know what happens when you need it back. It doesn't go well. So the biggest thing that we look for is the goals that you set out as an investor. So what are you looking to accomplish? You're looking to accomplish cash flow. You're looking to accomplish upside. We look for those things and we ask those questions to get a response back, to understand, this deal is not for somebody. If someone's looking for cash flow on a quarterly basis and they buy a deal that is 100% vacant that we're renovating, or a construction deal, there's no cash flow. So we would never send that person that deal because it doesn't check off their box. If someone says, no, this is the riskiest side of my investment, I'm looking for really big upside, that would work. So we just want to understand our investors from a personal level, what their goals are, why are they investing, what are they looking to accomplish with the investment? And then, we assess that, and then we have a conversation with them. We say, hey, listen, maybe this is for you, maybe it's not. And if it is, great. If it's not, we understand that. Maybe it's for you in a couple of years. But the biggest thing is that we want to take that pressure off you. You never have to deal with a tenant. You never have to deal with a manager. You never have to deal with an eviction. We do and handle the entire process. So from the start of the investment to the end of the investment, we do quarterly updates, semi-annual webinars. We have a year-end report, and we typically, as I said, it's an open line of communication. You ever have a question, you want to know what's going on, pick up the phone, you give me a call, you text me. My cell phone's there for any of our investors, and anything we can do to help. Maybe if it's not one of our projects, but we know someone that has a project that fits, we have no problem passing you along to someone that could potentially check off the box for you.
Love it all. And there's so many lessons there. The biggest one that stood out to me is how you're vetting your clients. And that's something I see all too often that businesses don't do or spend any time vetting someone, because when you get someone that isn't a fit, that client, even though they're paying you, they can end up costing you more money and time than you ever dreamed possible. And it could actually be a negative on when it's all said and done. And so it's very important, as John is pointing out, to really screen your clients before you bring them on. And I think this is true in nearly any vocation, unless you're selling physical goods and it's just drop shipped and they're going to a shopping cart. But if it's a service-based type of orientation where you're involved, then it's very important that you know who you're working with before you sign on the dotted line and accept their money. It's just as important to turn people away than it is to accept them. And I'm just extremely impressed and just excited that you have this, John, that I get to talk to someone else who has put in so much time and effort and thought into this and done it, in my opinion, in the right way. And so I think that's a huge lesson for everyone who's got a business, is find a way to, put together a system to vet your people. I do this I have apprentices that work with me, and they have to go through quite an onboarding process. And I put together videos and questions before they even get to talk to me. I don't waste any time. I just put up the question or the answers to the questions I know that they're asking from past apprentices that came through. Been doing it for several years now. And it really is a time saver to know that when you get that person and they're working with you, whether they're a client or somebody working with you, that they're of highest quality that you could possibly imagine, going through the process of screening them. So appreciate that.
No, thank you. I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I think it's just super intelligent. So, I can tell that you're not one of those people that goes in for the quick kill.
No, it's a long game.
And I think you're that way as a person, though, with integrity and the character. You're not looking for, how do I get a quick buck and how do I get out? You're looking for building relationships along the way. We had a talk before the show, and I could tell that you're a very loyal person. You really, you put a lot of value in relationship with people, which is also a phenomenal trait, because that goes a long way. So when I think about real estate, I think about, in my mind, it's people that really don't care about people and they just want to go make a buck. And that does not define you. And I'm not saying that that's all real estate people. And again, I'm green in this area, so I could be completely off. But that's what I think is like, how are they helping people? They're just making money by turning over properties. But what you're doing is providing a service to help people make money because you're in it with them and you care about people. That's what's different about you that I see. And so what is the best way? So a lot of people are out there wanting to be successful first and get to that, whatever that echelon is for them. But then once they get there, how do they sustain it? How do they maintain it? And for you, what has been the best way for you to just not just achieve it, but to continue to keep going long-term success?
So I think the long-term success answer for me is that I always strive to be the best I can. And I think every day we're learning. Like right now, we're in a situation that I've never been a part of. We're in the middle of a pandemic with, leasing has come to a slowdown and tenants are not moving. So we're always trying to be better at what we do. So, I instantaneously pick up the phone and I start calling some landlords that I know and some owners that I know that have owned properties for 30, 40, 50 years. So the long-term success for me, I don't care if you want a $1 trillion company or, a $100,000 company. I think success is defined by the quality of the life that you want and whatever that looks like. For me, it's just been every day trying to be better than the day before. Sometimes I make my wife angry and some people, because every day I wake up, I'm in a better attitude than I was the day before. Every day is a new day, and I'm happy and I'm excited to start that day. And every day I want to do whatever I could do to maximize the efforts and the education of myself, whether that's, calling 10 tenants and understanding why they're delinquent, or whether that's, reading a book or listening to an audio book, or whether that's, educating myself by speaking to other people in the business. I always want to be learning, and I always want to understand why people are making the decisions they're making, and if they're working or not. So I think that, the easiest thing for me to, to have that success and to build that success and sustain that success is never, I don't want to say never satisfied, because I think it comes off the wrong way, but I always feel like I could be better. And maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. And some people say, no, it makes sense. But I always feel like there's more to learn. There's another opportunity, and you can be better at it. And I always want to be the best at what I do. So it's just not ever feeling, I know it's, it sounds worse, but just not, not ever, I just need more. I want more. And for that, I'm hoping to deliver the right product to everybody around me, not just on the business side, just hoping to be better at everything I do.
And that really shines through. I can tell that's absolute truth. And I was taking notes. I'm getting writer's cramp. So yes, like I told everyone before we started, I also take notes. There's proof. I hope you're all doing the same, whether you're watching this live or recorded or listening to it on podcast afterward. I highly recommend you take notes. These are some really good golden nuggets. He's always striving to be best, to continue to be better. And that's one of the big aspects or attributes of a successful entrepreneur business person, is never satisfied. And I didn't take it that was a bad thing. It's like, okay, I've achieved the next level. Fantastic. Now what's next? We're looking up to the next one. It's an ongoing fun challenge. And it's very, I can see how it worked so wonderfully and beautifully for you and for me, being of competitive nature, growing up playing sports. That's part of it. You're always trying to improve. You never ever stop. And the best of the best, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they never stopped ever. Even when they were the best in the world, they continued to strive to be better. And I think that's a trait of a champion like yourself, John, in life, not just sports. It's in life. And I love that. And I love how you also talked about you're always learning, always striving to learn more. There is always something to learn. My goodness. Any day that if there were never anything else to learn or never another level to go to, what would life be like?
Exactly. It would, for me, it would just be empty. I mean, if there, it's not there. And like I said, it's the always striving to be better and always wanting more and never satisfied is, that's what gets me up and excited about the day. It's like, if I've reached the top, what am I going to do the next day? Like I have a ton of friends that are retired, some older guys, some younger guys. And, I have a cousin that retired at 45 years old. And I was like, but what do you want to do? And if I have the ability to do that, it would be, okay, how can I give back? How can I do more? What can I do every day? Because I could never just wake up and do nothing. And the running joke around almost everybody I know and a ton of my friends is, we're super family oriented, as you can tell from early on. But, I would love to, I joke around, I'd love to retire to, Montana and have 200 acres and not see any neighbors, be by myself and just my family and be more like laid back. And they're like, that's just not possible. It's just, there's no way you can't retire. That's not your attitude, your personality. You're always going to be in the ring fighting for whatever is next, whether it's you build this business and you sell it. I've actually been on the record numerous times. If something doesn't go my way, I actually say all the time, I'll leave what I'm doing right now and I'll just go build the exact same company better tomorrow with nobody, because I have no problem and I absolutely have all the confidence in the world. Whatever I'm doing right now, if I sold my company, gave it to my partner, gave him all the interest in the deals that I have, starting with nothing tomorrow, I'm going to build a twice as larger company, just because it's just my nature to go out and do things. And even my mom said it, this was maybe about a year or 2 years ago. She said, when are you gonna do do else? Or do you really enjoy this? I said, no, I do. This I can make bigger, as opposed to some other things I've done where it's like, yeah, you've reached the ceiling and there's no more, where are you going to go? But I just love the thrill of continuing to push forward.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious from sitting over here next to you all the way in California, and I love it. And it's like I can't think of the right word, but it's infectious. That's it. That's a good word. And retirement, my goodness, I don't even know what the definition of that is. I'm with you on that one. To me, it's like I would not be happy if I retired, if I stopped.
Yeah.
Retirement is for me, it would be maybe a change from one vocation to another, but it's not stop it. It's,
exactly.
It's important to take time off and get away for a little bit. The interesting thing is, I can't sit by a pool and read a book. I mean, I'd go out and sit by a pool and I'd sit there and I'll go, okay, I'm getting hot. I turn over, I get hot again. And I was like, you know what? I'll jump in the pool and I'm out of here. I'm done. I can't do that all day. Do nothing. Even if it's reading a book, I'm like, it's hot and it's glaring. And it's like, I could do so much more if I was back in front of a computer and I would be happier. And that's just the way some people are wired, right? Not everybody's wired this way. We get that. But
100%.
For me, relaxation is doing more and talking and doing this show. This is what I love, talking with amazing people like you. I would do this all day long. There are times literally where my wife and I twice recently have been on vacation. We went on one cruise that was, I think, a 10-day cruise to Tahiti. And the one before that, we did one on the East Coast. We were near you. We were jumping around from the different towns and cities there. Started out Manhattan and moved around Boston, and that was fun. But it was after 4 or 5 days, I was ready to go home. I had enough fun. Stir crazy. Let's get back. I want to get back and get busy. I love what I do. So it's amazing, isn't it?
It's the best feeling in the world.
And some people ask, what's your hobbies? I'm like, I don't have one. I mean, I don't call this a hobby, but if I were to pick one, this is it. What I do every day, my job, my business, right? Working with people, helping them automate, doing the live shows, all of this. This is what I love to do.
And that's the thing that, I love what I do every day. Which is why I'm so passionate about it, because my wife says all the time, if I have to hear you listen to another podcast or an audio book or talk about real estate, she's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm so in it. It is what it is. But I mean, there is nothing better than loving what you do every single day, because it's, that's my vacation. That's my hobby. And don't get me wrong, I like to go away and I like to be, by myself, and, we have a house up on the lake, and that stuff's great. It's awesome. And there's nothing wrong with it, but there is the thrill of the business and the everyday grind. It's awesome.
I hadn't really thought about it much till you came on the show, but there are so many similarities between this and competitive sports. So look at all of the people who have all of the champions. How many times has Michael Jordan won it all? How many times has Kobe Bryant won it all? So then they're happy and they're content. They come back next season. They don't care, right? No, they want to win again and again and again. It's just inherent. It's a drive. I think most people have it, but some just have it at a higher degree. And, we want to continue. We want to improve. We want to perfect. We want to just, what is next? And that's what makes, some people would say we're obsessed. Okay, they can put whatever label they want on it. As long as I'm happy, I don't care what they call it.
That's how I feel. I got to answer to myself every morning and every night. So, if someone's talking about me, over here, that's fine. Call me obsessed, call me crazy, but that is what it is. Yeah,
exactly. Well, hey, it's hard to believe we're getting close to the end. As always, they fly by. But there is this one question I love to ask every guest that's been on this show, and everyone has been asked the same question. I hope you didn't peek and see one of those from before. Most don't. And it's a really interesting question. It's a powerful question and a bit personal. It's got everything rolled up into one. And before we do that, though, I did promise everyone who's watching live that they could have a chance at winning a 5-night stay at a 5-star resort in Mexico or a place of your choosing. And now, both John and I give you permission, if you're not watching on your phone, to take out your phone and bring out your texting app. And here's how you enter to win. when you get your texting app open, when you want to send a text to somebody, put that number you see on the screen in the field of where you would put in a name of an individual. And that number is 661-535-1624. And once you put that number in the little message area where you type in your message, type the word PEAK, P-E-A-K. Again, that number is 661-535-1624. Type the word PEAK, P-E-A-K. And again, this is sponsored by our wonderful friends at powertexting.com. And go ahead and do that now and then come right back, because we're going to ask that deep hitting, final, incredible, amazing question of Mr. John Cohen. All right. I hope everyone is back. I saw John was entering as I was talking. That's phenomenal. I love it. I hope he did. Everyone is eligible. Everyone, including guest experts. It's a random draw. All right. So, Mr. Cohen, you've had some time to think about this. You have no idea what's coming.
Not a bit.
And I can see on your face, he's like, I don't care. Bring it.
Let's do it.
He was a former aspiring professional baseball player. He's like, so bro, I don't care what you got. Bring it. Yeah. All right, here we go. Here's the thing. It's a really cool question. There's a couple of things about it. One thing is there is no such thing, John, as a wrong answer. It's impossible to answer it incorrectly. You can't. So if there was any trepidation that you weren't showing, then that should be gone. In fact, the exact opposite is true. The only correct answer is yours. Because again, it is somewhat personal. We're not going to dig deep into your personal life. It's a really quick, easy, fast question to ask. It may not be so easy and fast to answer. For you, it depends on how long it takes. It doesn't matter. If it's instant, great. If it takes you 5 minutes to come up with an answer, I don't care. That's fine. Either way is fine. So with all that relaxation now going through your body, are you ready for the big question?
I am.
All right, here we go. John Cohen, how do you define success?
Define success. See, I love that question, and it's not the first time it's been asked. And my answer has changed numerous times, but I think that the success to me is when you go to bed at night and you wake up in the morning, you've done everything that you set out to do, that you wanted to do, and that you can go to bed with knowing that you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with health. It has nothing to do with, where you live, what your address is, if you have $1 billion in the bank or $1 in the bank. I think success is going to bed at night knowing that you accomplished and you did everything in your power that you could control. You accomplished it.
Ooh, powerful. I like that last word, control. Definitely powerful. It's very important too that you understand that as long as you did everything that is under your control and you've done it all, then that is John's definition of success. And the other thing I love that you said right there, John, was it's different now than it used to be, and it changes. And that is so true. Success for someone just starting out, who's more of a scarcity mentality because they're just starting out, well, money might be the focus at that moment. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that. It has to be the focus at some point. It has to be the focus so you can get going. And then once momentum is building and you then change your mindset to how I can serve more people, how can I help more people, then just more money will start coming in. But the focus has changed to serving people. And now, that's the thing. When you go through the different stages of business and life, everyone's definition of success changes as we go through life and experience different things. That was phenomenal. And here's the cool other thing. No two people have answered that identically ever. And we're approaching 100 shows. And no person ever said their answer was never about money. You basically said the opposite. It's not about money. And that I've had on the show. And that just shows that we have a very accomplished and successful entrepreneurs on the show because they're out of that scarcity stage and they're into the abundance stage and really crushing it and looking for ways to crush it even greater and help more people, which I know is important to you, John, is to help more people. And that's why I love having people like you on the show. I'm so grateful for you to come on and spend all this time there. It's 9:30 at night. Your little one's probably asleep already and didn't get daddy's kiss. We got to, figure that out. But I appreciate you for coming on, my brother. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time.
No, it's my pleasure. I appreciate you having me. It was a blast. I had a great time, and I hope all the listeners got some good nuggets, and it was a great time.
Absolutely. And what is the best way, real quick before we sign off, what is the best way for folks to get in touch with you?
Best way to get in touch with me, my email address. I'm in front of the computer a large part of the day. So my email address is John, JOHN, at Toro, TOROREP.com. That's probably the best. If you send me an email, typically within 24 to 48 hours, someone or myself, most likely myself, will get back to you with, hey, if you want to jump on a call, you have any questions, real estate related, anything we spoke about. My personal, one thing I absolutely believe in is that I think that in life, people need help, and there's no one that's too busy with predefined time that can't give anybody 30 minutes of advice, a shoulder to listen to, someone to hear. And I had a lot of help getting to where I am. So a mission of mine is to make sure that I can give back to anybody that takes me up on it. I'm only 32, so I might not be able to answer all the questions, but any questions you have, if you want to just, another idea or someone to talk to, don't ever hesitate to reach out. I truly mean that. And
I can tell this is amazing. So that email address is on the screen now for those of you watching. It's John, JOHN, at ToroRep, TOROREP.com. Reach out and just say hi and see, hey, John, I'm curious. What do you have going on and what are your requirements? Let's have that talk. Let's do a video talk. Do whatever your system calls for, John, and let's just have that conversation and get the ball rolling. Because I think it's a phenomenal concept. I love it. Appreciate it. Fantastic.
I appreciate it.
It's been an amazing, amazing, fun time. I get to have all the fun. I'm the luckiest blessed person on the planet to be able to do this kind of show. I love what I get to do. And I love having people like you, John, on the show with incredible character, integrity, and caring for other people, and wildly successful, and sharing how you got to where you have gotten. And so, once again, I appreciate you. I thank you for coming on the show. And for all of you watching and listening, appreciate you for coming on. Your time is valuable as well. And that's it. That's a wrap. We are going to come back again next time on the Mind Body Business Show. Until then, this is your host, Brian Kelly, saying so long for now. Be blessed, everyone.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Mind Body Business Show with Brian Kelly.